I played for about 2 minutes and then was like, oh, this is not good. Have you played it a bunch? Do you enjoy it?
Oh god, no, I do not enjoy it, but I have played it a bunch.
He ironically enjoys it.
Why have you played it then? Were you a tester?
No, I wanted a concept of this game for a long time now. And so I played it a crap ton just to see if it like gave you any platforming sections. It
sure.
Really did not.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I knew what it had because I recorded it, so I was like, oh, no, yeah, this is the fireball one. Okay, here we go.
Like $100 wasted. But I mean, like, you know, there was some cool environment stuff in that, but I got in contact with a few of the developers for it. And
very cool.
On,
That's all right.
Like, compiling all of the documentation of the development history. So there will be a documentary about that.
Oh, that's cool. What's strange about that is that the character models for the 3 titles, they don't look like themselves from the game. And I think that was one of the... I know why they did that, to make it look uniform in the game, but I think that was a distracting element. Sort of like people wearing costumes. Alright, so I have to talk about this. Are people familiar with the uniqueness of this character down here?
Oh, with the janitor?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not
So this is the only place you see this guy, right? Little rat janitor. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just remembering that they're only in this section.
Yeah. That's so he is the winner of a contest. They had a contest with some school kids to make up a character to be in Sly 2, and this is the winner. So some kid drew like a version of this little rat janitor, and then they did, mock-ups of it and brought in more into the style of the game. But that's Ratso is his name, and it was made by some grade school kid at the time.
Oh wow.
That's why he's only in this level. Which is funny to do all that work to have a character model, but only in one place in the game. But that's why it's the winner of this contest. So.
Speaking of a contest, did you know what was the Sly Cooper comics when they got released? When they released the 1 and 2 comic books?
I own them. What about them?
Yeah, how did people get them? I'm actually not too sure. I have 1 and 2 myself.
That is a good question. I believe they were promotional material. That would be my guess. Like at E3 or something. Yeah. But now that I say that, I didn't see them at E3. I love all these weird places they have lasers. So they had to have been promotional materials, because they don't have price tags on them, right? They weren't available in stores.
They're like a collectible item you can find somewhere on eBay at this point.
Totally now, rare. But to your question of what was their original publication, I'll have to look into that. That's a good question. You missed that jump.
If you need help with this level, there's a wall that you go around.
It's over here, right?
Up.
Oh, up top. It's been a little...
It's a little bar with a...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go over to that tube, or where the...
I can see where it is. I couldn't remember how to get up to it. I see it there. Is it just this?
No, it's across the bridge.
Yeah, I was in the right direction, right? Oh gosh. Ratso, leave me alone.
That's interesting, though. I don't think anybody knew about him.
Every time I played this... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Every time I played this level, I would always think to myself, does walking in shallow water cause the object to destroy something? The bridge just in case.
Oh, yeah. And did it? I'm not going to find out. There you go.
have to go all the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've made it so far. Just so far. So, and this is a really good... oh, no, we are going to do it again.
Oh, no.
There's so... Like, what a great way to use platforming. Like, the room is so small, and yet there's a definite, like, course to follow through here that has so many things to keep you guessing and reacting to. It's good design. Good design. This holds up today. This would still be exciting. Seriously, why aren't there more games like this? I don't understand. Tell me why.
Yes, you and why.
Money.
That's actually a really good answer.
But it's still fun. That's what I don't get. I'd pay money to play this. A new version of this.
They got stuck in a rut of just like, let's keep doing what we're doing now when they moved away from these. And ever since then they haven't returned. But Crash is back.
Yeah, that might start things back up again. Because it's like, I've watched the eras of popular games that had no business being duplicated. MMORPGs, everybody's like, wow makes a lot of money, let's try that. Oh shit, this is expensive.
Yeah.
Before that, real-time strategy games, also by Blizzard. Oh, let's make our own version. Oh wait, these are really complicated and people don't enjoy playing them.
Yeah. Another thing I was curious about actually is how did you originally get into voice acting? Like, did you apply originally?
Yeah, sorry, Bentley was talking about internet. Yeah, I worked as a improvisational comedian at a show in San Jose, California called Comedy Sports, and they're a nationwide chain of family improvisational comedy shows. And our owner, Jeff Kramer, was a working voice actor, and you can IMDb him. He's on a bunch of titles. And he was working at a studio called Webtone, and so they were looking to cast for a little game called Jet Set Radio Future, and needed some younger sounding voices, and a lot of them. And so everybody from our improv company was invited to audition. At the time, I was at San Jose State University studying radio, television, film with a minor in writing and acting. And so I was, a qualified person, knew how to go to auditions, but had never done any voice work before. But I went in and read for a bunch of characters on Jet Set Radio Future and landed the noise tanks from that title. And I remember very specifically because they told me no one could really understand what a robot skateboarder kid should sound like. And I instantly started doing some gibberish thing, and that's in the game and stuff. And as opposed to like, I am robot on a skateboard. So yeah, then I kind of parlayed that gig into more voiceover stuff. I came out for other gigs. And then eventually I needed an internship while I was a student at San Jose State, and Webtone was kind enough to bring me in as a production coordinator. It went a lot like this, where I'm running for my life. Yeah, and so that kind of opened the door to a lot of voiceover work for me. And my story is a story from another time. I don't believe that it would be as easy for someone to find their way into the industry these days. Like if I was to do that again, it wouldn't go so easily because the studio system is very different. Back then, I had to audition by going into a physical studio and reading lines in front of a director. And then that relationship was what blossomed into the career that I've had. That's not how voice acting is done anymore. You pretty much record alone, in your room, in a closet. You don't get to meet people. And yet, so much of voice acting in all of the acting industry is based on who you know. So it's more about taking classes and networking with producers and getting to know people in the industry. It's a lot more... It's just a different angle than the way I was able to get in. So.
You still open to the prospect of doing more voice acting nowadays?
Absolutely, yeah. I landed a gig this last year on my first animated TV spot. It is not Sly Cooper, just so we don't get too excited.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, so that'll be streamed pretty soon. As soon as I would tell you, but I don't think you'd care at this point. Maybe you would, whatever. I'll just, when it's a little more official, I'll say the name of the title and what I did for it.
Yeah,
also,
whatever.
when I'm confident that they didn't recast me. You've already heard stories tonight of competent voice actors being recast for all sorts of reasons, so I won't believe it until I hear my voice come out of the TV, so.
Have you been recast before?
In very small ways in, what was it? PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. I read for some ancillary characters, and I think they didn't put them in the game. I was like a golfer and something else. And in Sly 3, I read for, they needed some more voices, so I read one of the bad guys and was like a thug that did some lines. But in both of those cases, the director was like, nah, you sound too much like Sly Cooper.
Wait, Sly's on the other side now?
Yeah, exactly. Which annoys me because if, I watch just about any show or game now, and Richard Horvitz has an incredibly identifiable voice, and yet he plays characters on both sides of the team all the time. But, whatever, I'm not Richard Horvitz.
Yeah. Very easily recognizable.
He's ordered his guards to ring the boat's bell when the coast is clear.
Coast is clear for what?
Of that I'm uncertain. Ring the bell and follow him.
I can hear that clue bottle. I want to get it so bad.
Find out what he's hiding.
Bentley, shut up. We need clue bottles.
I need the clue bottle, you dumb shell guy. Here it is. Oh, only 3 more.
What do you think's the most dramatic voice you ever had to do? Or that wasn't Sly.
Most dramatic. Help me, what do you mean by dramatic?
Something that's very different than what you actually sound like. Something you have to put a lot of effort into making sound different.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, the character that I voiced for this upcoming animated series, my guest starring role in it is a caveman, and sounds nothing like me. There was also a game I did, Scooby-Doo and the Secret of the Stolen Drum. It was a TLC game, and I sounded like a surfer guy. I think that guy doesn't sound like me. He's like, whoa, my name is Torrance Walker, tour guide. And that doesn't, maybe you think it sounds like me, I don't know.
You want to give us a demo of the caveman?
My name is Caveman. So that's that's about it. I can't do it for long because it definitely hurts my throat. Sly raid. Are we getting raided?
Yeah, Marcus just gave you 3 people.
3 people! That's in honor of Dimitri, since Dimitri's on the screen.
Outside of Sly Cooper, what are your personal favorite games?
These are great questions. Who's asking all these wonderfully insightful questions?
It's a guy with a Roblox picture.
Oof.
Oof.
Is it really oof?
Yeah, it's the only reason the robot.
Oh, it's a Roblox. Oh, okay.
Oof. Well, oof, if I could tell you. I am an avid Guild Wars 2 player. I play every day and have done several streams here of me playing Guild Wars 2, but no one cares.
Hey, I care.
Thank you. That's true. You do care. In fact, you make clips of it. I just meant the only thing that had lower attendance for that was when I played Fortnite. No one cared about that. Also, I didn't care about Fortnite. So big fan of that. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Warhammer.
I love Warhammer.
Warhammer Total War? Or just Warhammer?
I played Vermintide myself.
Oh, very cool. But I'm a pretty big gamer, so I'm really looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, and
Oh yeah.
I've got to finish up Red Dead. I'm in the epilogue right now. For years, for longer than I care to admit, I would play games kind of the way I would do homework, in that I would force myself to finish a subject before moving on, and then it would become a joyless chore. And so now I've realized if I don't feel like playing a game, I don't play it. It's really fraying. Oh wait, make sure you see Dimitri go through the door. Look at that jump shot. That was cool. So
Much of a Nintendo guy?
yes. So we've got. I had Nintendo. I had an NES, a SNES, and then I jumped ahead to GameCube, Wii U, and now we have a Switch. So yeah. I gave up the Xbox though.
Yeah. You get a chance at the new SpongeBob game?
No, I don't know if I've ever played a SpongeBob game. What's the new SpongeBob game?
Battle for Bikini Bottom.
It's a
Go on.
remaster.
Oh yeah, I remember that game. I was like, that's an old game, right?
Yeah, it is.
What do you do?
It's kind of like just a platformer, just standard platformer. It's pretty good though. Yeah, collectathon.
What I remember of that game, if I'm not mistaken, is that was the game that won Nickelodeon's Video Game of the Year up against like Mario 64, which everyone was like, really? Kids voted for that over Mario 64?
Although Battle for Bikini Bottom, I haven't played it myself, but I've heard that it's a very well-made game.
Is it? All right. I've seen streamer. I think I saw maybe it was Zenthro doing a.
Yeah, I think he's played that a few times. I think he's been trying to speedrun it.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I feel like that's a good another good indicator or symbol of what we were saying a moment ago about how people would build games of a genre even if it didn't belong in that genre. Like nowadays, they'd be like, MMOs are really popular, make SpongeBob an MMO. Because why would SpongeBob be a platformer? It's because that's what video games look like, so you make him a platformer. Alright, so do I go left or right? How do I get away from? Can I go this way? No. Oh no!
Oh no.
I do remember you get sent back pretty far in this.
I was wondering if anybody knew why Dimitri is the only villain who gets his own intro screen.
Oh, do the others not?
No, nobody else does that. Just Dimitri and in the beginning.
Oh.
I bet it's because they forgot.
It's very possible.
Because I forgot.
Stand tall, feel funky.
You know, maybe because by the time it happens in the next level, you've forgotten. But it's such a part of the trope of you know, the thieving game to have that like boom, the thief, the artist, the whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pay attention to that when the other characters show up later.
No idea you were watching while he typed in that.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but yeah, just keep an eye on that.
I will. That's cool.
Like that
I
door.
want to say maybe they do, but it has been a very long time.
I'll let you know because I'm gonna get a platinum in this game. So platinum. It'll be my second platinum. It seems a pro.
Kevin's gonna use that as the same line as, "Hey, I have all the Skylines."
That's right. That which is what my other platinum is in.
Hey Kevin, regarding this development of Sly Cooper, what type of computers were you using or rendering software, if you ever saw any of it?
I didn't see any of that. You know, the only time I was in the studio. What is this guy doing? Oh, there's like two of them over here. I was only in the studio a handful of times, and yeah, I didn't look under the hood, and I wouldn't have known any of it if they showed it to me anyway. But I do remember seeing a dev kit at some point and being like, that thing's huge.
I think it's like Myers.
Is it?
Might have been.
I remember
He would know more than anybody.
Nate Fox, who is the what's his official title? Creative director of this? He would talk about how he would design the levels in Maya, very rudimentary, like no textures, but kind of lay out sort of the geometry of everything, and then he'd be like, and then real designers would come in and use that.
Yeah, we in the behind the scenes they do show us some of the early non-textured maps.
Oh, one clue bottle left.
Yeah, I was pretty interested because I noticed the animations are pretty fluid for their time. The game actually aged pretty well.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, this is on the PS3, but yeah. Cool. Now, I'd be interested to see if we crack open the PS2, what that looks like. But I guess that's what most speedrunners play it on the PS2, right?
Some of them will play on the old PS3 with the PS2 disc.
Oh, yeah.
The disc itself.
Yeah, because the PS2 is a slow machine, especially if you're speedrunning. I mean, I'm bored just thinking about how long it takes the PS2 to load.
And don't a lot of them also listen? No, they play the Japanese version because the cutscenes are faster.
Yeah, which I think is heresy, but...
It's because the Japanese language is very fast.
Right.
Well, I guess if you're going for speed, you're not enjoying the voice acting anyway, but still, some things should be important. I'm really just looking for this last clue bottle here.
Speaking of the other PlayStation systems, Mr. Early Adopter, are you gonna early adopt the PlayStation?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. No, you know, and I don't know if you saw that article where they're still speculating over the price tag of the PS5. That is like the greatest mystery of our time. What they're gonna price that at. Oh, I think
they're
I heard
waiting
it.
on Xbox to they're playing chicken with Xbox basically.
Yeah, who's gonna go
They have
cheaper?
this information by now because of E3, and now because of E3, there wasn't a reason to do it.
Yeah, it's like whatever. I don't know what you want it to be. I don't know what you want it to be. I mean, here's the thing. If it's, I'll be getting the optical version because why wouldn't you? And
Yeah, same.
if it's over 500, that will hurt. That will be hard to swallow because that's like a phone. Now you're talking. I better use this thing a lot, which I will. The fact that
my
it's
thing is, if you don't get it early, it's gonna be hard to get later.
ooh, that's a solid point. Very good point.
That's every system has gone through droughts.
Yeah, especially if it comes out around Christmas. So yeah, good call. I can hear it. I can hear the last clue bottle.
So that's why I'm considering going ahead.
I figure there are enough games that I want straight out, like yes, like Cyberpunk 2077, Avengers. That it's like I might as well just hold off on buying those and get them on the PS5. Although I don't know if I'll wait for Cyberpunk 2077. I need to play that right now. How do I get that game?
The Nocticom, it'll tell you where the vault is.
Oh, I thought this was the vault because it's inside I saw it. It's inside Dimitri's house.
Oh, that's true. It's in his office. But yeah, if you ever forget where it is,
And I did. I confused my safe house for it. Now this would be an amazing game to have like a true remaster. Imagine all the effects and stuff they could do now with.
Get all the same art directors back and just like show them.
Yeah, and there's just so much potential here. Let's see. Over there. There's the safe house. Got it. All right, I think we'll grab this safe and call it a night tonight. This has been a blast. Is there anyone we need to say hello to in the lobby before we?
Let me get Benjamin and Spencer in here.
Let's do it.
Real quick.
You just bring them in. You don't have to kick anybody out. Everybody's being very polite.
They might have a couple questions for you.
Yeah. Guys, these have been great questions tonight. Sly 2 brings out the good questions.
Alright.
I just want to thank you though. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your experiences. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're a gentleman. Thank you for asking insightful questions. It's fun. It's fun to reminisce.
Alright, Benjamin and Spencer, if you have any questions, you can ask away.
Or statements or songs. You can make up a song. Now is the time.
I'm not so sure about the song thing. I am actually curious. I think I've asked you this a while back, like in the first Sly 1 stream. And you were talking a bit about it earlier. What was your general opinion on PlayStation All-Stars? Because for me, that's the game that everybody except for me hates.
You don't run that Twitter handle that's demanding PlayStation All-Stars 2, are you?
No, I don't. But
you would
I
follow.
played a lot of it. Like I played it almost till shutdown, and a little humble brag here. I was like one of the top players on the ranked match.
Nice.
And Sly was obviously one of my favorite characters to play as, and I was just curious about how the actors in general, like the people who voiced the original characters, thought about the game and how they portrayed the characters.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you that I was with you. I loved that game, and I loved it as a voice actor. I can set that aside and talk about that in a second. But I loved it as a gamer, and I've talked about it on the Gamerland podcast. That was the first game that I was like, how do games do this? How is it scratching so many different itches that I have at the same time? Because I bought this game because I'm in it, and so that's interesting. But then I find myself caring about leveling up this character, and that's interesting. And then I found myself caring about the backgrounds and the art style and the scenes. I'm like, there are so many things that a game has to keep in mind, and this game seems to pull all of those switches for me. That's like a sleeper favorite game of mine, and I often forget how much I played that game a lot. So, huge fan. Right, Wolfman is back. Now you're hosting our stream. But as a voice actor, I know all of us were honored to see our characters show up in this giant crossover. It's kind of like getting to be in an Avenger movie, right? Like, oh, nice. We get to do these scenes and do these cool moments and kind of explore areas of the character that you wouldn't be able to. I often dream about what it'd be like if Buzz Lightyear met Lightning McQueen, what that would be like. And that's kind of what that was like. Hey, Cattails, thanks for the follow.
Kevin, I have a quick question about two
Go for it.
sound effects in particular.
Yeah.
That you do, the one where you get electrocuted and the one where you are like burning after you hit a laser or something like that. how did you come up with the inspiration for that? Because those two in particular always stuck out to me as being particularly special.
The laser one, I don't recall. That's probably just a thing. But the fire one in the first game, and I think it's in this game too, isn't me. And it may not even be me in the third game. The thing they got off some audio CD. And in fact, when we recorded Sly 2, I said, "Hey, can I give you a different fire sound because you're using that sound off a CD?" And I remember Nate Fox even going, "Oh yeah, that sound is terrible." And then we recorded something, and then there must have been some meeting somewhere because someone said, "No, we're gonna keep it with that terrible, goofy sound."
Oh, that's funny.
Because it's not me the whole time. I don't even know if I can hit that note. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. So.
Well, can you give us what you would have done?
Yeah, maybe that's why I did it, and they're like, "No, the goofy sound was better." I probably would have done something like, "Oh no!" Something like that.
So it's basically like what you got to do with Sly 4.
Yeah, then in Sly 4...
a lot of it sounded a lot more like Sly was actually in pain.
Exactly. Well, I put it in my contract. I said, yeah, if you're going to put me in here, I'm not going to do the game unless I get to do the fire sound effects. And we actually... no, I'm just kidding.
It kind of sounds like something you might do, though.
The contract negotiation.
Just stuck your finger on a lighter.
That's right. This is where it's at. Hey, I didn't get any trophies for any of this.
Learning how to speedrun the first game.
Say that again?
That one has a lot of potential for... make some really great streams.
Me speedrunning? Oh gosh, no. I'm a terrible.
You know, I was looking through some of the stuff you were doing in Sly 2 earlier, and I noticed how you were going through some levels, and there were tricks to me that were originally from speedrunning, but they're just so easy to pull off, it just became second nature to me. And I was kind of debating, mentioning it in chat, hey, you can do this to, get some extra jump height, but I didn't think you'd see it, and if you did, I figured it would just be wasting time for you to try and figure out how to do it on the screen anyway.
Jump?
I think speedrunning is super cool, and I'm always impressed with folks that can do it. And I'll take any tip to be like, oh, that's neat. That's how you cut that. But I'm never gonna be a speedrunner.
It honestly gives me a headache.
Yeah, I would
First
just.
game-
I'll tell you
First
what.
game's easier than you think to learn because
I
I'm
believe it.
terrible. Like I can't do any of the other games, but I can speedrun the first game, and that's about
Well,
it.
I decided I'm gonna go for quality over speed, so we're gonna get a platinum. I feel like that's a fun goal. That's a little more intense than just a let's play. So hopefully that's
Well,
a good
I'll tell you
middle
what's
ground.
saved me a lot of stress is like, too, especially with platinum stuff. If you ever get to a point where it's like Sly's at just below the necessary height to reach onto a building, you can just retry with a special type of jump. You just hold down the square button instead of using the charge attack, and while you're holding it down, you just press the X button 3 times. So it's like he gets 3 jumps instead of 2
Triple
jumps.
jump.
Oh, really?
To get to
Oh,
a
that's
lot
cool.
of places that you otherwise could.
Oh,
Saves
well,
a lot of stress.
I will definitely be trying that right now. Awesome. Do we have any other questions? Look at that load time.
Just one minor thing, going back to the PlayStation All-Stars, actually. I noticed specifically on the PlayStation Vita, Sly has like 2 different variations for some of the voice lines and sound effects that you can use. Like if he gets hit, it respawns and stuff like that. And it'll say basically the same things, but it sounds very much not like you. So I was wondering if you were aware that that was actually a thing, or
Where is
like
it?
some news. It's only if you're playing the PlayStation Vita version of PlayStation All Stars, and you'll actually hear like the original voice lines for you occasionally. It's just like some random RNG, or it'll decide to play something. It's like the same line but with a completely different voice. Sometimes like different accent.
Interesting.
Almost.
On the Vita version of PlayStation All Stars. For Sly,
Yeah.
I played it. I played Sly the whole way through the campaign many times. I don't ever remember going, hey, that's not me.
Sly and Carmelita specifically both have that for the PlayStation Vita, because Carmelita is a hazard on the infamous map, which crosses over with her.
That's right.
And like the PlayStation 3 version and most of the PlayStation Vita version, they had the same voice actress. I don't remember her name, but it was the same voice actress who did Carmelita and Sly 4.
Right.
And the PlayStation Vita, it's like a mix between the Sly 4 voice actress and Sly 2 voice actress, and it's like
I will go and
it's like, you guys don't want to make up your mind here. It's getting kind of confusing because I'm hearing both of these at the same time.
I can almost guarantee that it is not anybody but Gray in the PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. The only way they would have used a different actress is if they were grabbing a line from a previous game, and I would be extremely surprised if they did that. That doesn't sound. Not only is it a lot of work, it's also illegal. So
yeah, that game had a lot of recycled lines. It was just it's like you'd hear Sly say things that Bentley said, or stuff like that, or like
lines. Lines that were said, but not
things that we said at some point.
Yeah,
but,
the actual line, but the actor said it. Yeah. There just wasn't a lot of fresh copy. That's all. Well, I'm gonna have to dig that game up and see about it. Maybe I should play that sometime on the stream.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'd love to be able to do it with you, but online is dead, so.
Why is online dead? Because the PS3 is not
the easiest way to just win with Sly is just use the electromagnetic raccoon rule. Funny because in Sly 1 it's like largely useless, and in that game it's the most broken thing you can do.
It's very true. It's very nice. Yeah, I would always save up for the level 3 super, and then I realized how much more powerful Murray is, and that's the level 2 super, right?
No, Murray's level 1.
It's just level 1.
Is where he gets Carmelita's jetpack.
That's right.
But then they nerfed Murray.
But you can... Did they? Because I still remember being able to get 2 people next to you, you slam Murray, and they're gone.
He's still able to do that. It's just that if you hit Sly soon enough, it'll interrupt him.
Oh, I see. So if you're playing with a more confident...
It used to be a lot more powerful. I used to use it all the time.
Yeah, you're like, hi,
yeah,
how are
can
you,
still
fam?
easily get kills, but
Yeah, because he says that "glad I could help" line, and then it takes a while before he actually does it. That makes sense.
yeah,
That's cool.
that line is basically become a meme between me and my sister, who both like Sly Cooper and like PlayStation All Stars. Where it's like, hey, will you come help me with this, and we'll just say the same thing in that exact tone of voice. Sure, glad I could help.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the good questions and for hanging out, guys.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Okay, go ahead. One more thing.
Thank you.
My girlfriend's a huge fan of the game. She says hello, appreciates the game and the work you did for it.
Hi to your girlfriend.
And the question was, she said, "Do you know the Mega Jump cheat code?"
I think we were just talking about that, right? It didn't work for me.
You have to get 100%. So
100%.
Basically, yeah, it's basically useless. You have to get all the clue bottles and all the power-ups, and then you have to use a cheat code to unlock it. And the icing on the cake is that you have to use it for every level. So,
well,
it's really only good if you're bored and you want to explore the game.
Well,
and stuff.
We're definitely gonna do that when we get a platinum.
I'll be sure to stick around for that, because that seems like it's gonna be a fun time watching Sly voice actor react to everything that he said and did back in 2005,
2004, somewhere in there. Yep.
Yeah, offering a fresh perspective on how it's aged, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we learned a lot just tonight. So.
Yeah, well, thanks for stopping. You guys are doing a great promo. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stuff. So
I'm afraid I can't do that on Twitch.
Yeah, whatever it is on Twitch. Yes, Sly 5 confirmed. Hey guys, thanks Ryan. Thanks to Ryan. Yay!
Ryan, thank you for answering all my questions. I'm glad you liked All Stars. I'm gonna have to tell everyone in the community for All Stars that you liked it.
Yeah, you know, I like the idea of streaming that sometime. That'd be fun. Please.
Please do it.
Just if you fight that Sly AI, don't let it get level 3, because it has like.
Well, it's a computer.
It's weird to say this because it's an AI, but it has like legitimate aimbot. If it gets level 3, it knows exactly where you're going. You can move, and it'll move at the exact same speed that you're going. You literally can't avoid it. So
it's like it's a computer. It's like it's a computer. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. On behalf of Ryan, this is Kevin saying, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.